Hi everybody, it's Deedee here from stampinwithdeedee.com. In this video, I'll show you how to make this darling Easter Bunny card. We'll use watercolor pencils and blender pens to give the bunny a colorized vintage photo effect, and then add a touch of festivity to the inside of the card as well. To make this card, we'll be using the Sweet Little Something stamp set from the Occasions 2018 Stampin' Up catalog. This is such a precious set that's perfect for making Easter cards and new baby projects too. Sweet Little Something is one of Stampin' Up's newest two-step stamp sets. Two-step stamp sets are ones where the image is divided into pieces that you need to stamp together to get the full image. Sweet Little Something is also a photorealistic stamp set, so once you stamp all its pieces, the finished bunny will have near photo-like detail. So here's what you'll need to make this card. Your Sweet Little Something stamp set, plus clear blocks to hold the stamps. We'll also be using Smoky Slate and basic gray ink pads to ink up the different parts of the bunny image, as well as the greeting and the images on the inside of the card. Of course, you'll need a few papers and some ribbon too, including one 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch vertical card base and lemon lime twist, one 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of pink pattern paper from the Whole Lot of Lovely designer pack, one 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of white cardstock for decorating the inside of the card, a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch square of white cardstock to stamp the bunny on. You'll also need an 8 1/2 inch piece of basic gray shimmer ribbon to wrap around the card front, and one 6 inch piece of the same ribbon to make the bunny's bow. To color the images on this card, you'll need green and pink watercolor pencils and a blender pen. You'll also need a variety of adhesives to put the card together, as well as some scissors to trim the ends of your ribbon. Finally, you'll need a piece of scratch paper that you can stamp on. Now let's get started. First, we're going to build the bunny image on the white cardstock square. I'm actually starting with the second stamp because it has some shading that helps me align the base and top level detail stamps better. Ink this stamp with Smoky Slate by tapping it a few times on the ink pad to get good ink coverage. Then just stamp it in the middle of the cardstock. Next, ink the base stamp, the one that has no details on it, in Smoky Slate too. But before you stamp it on your cardstock, stamp it off once on your scratch paper to get a lighter shade of ink. Now align that base stamp over the piece you already stamped and stamp it on the cardstock. To add the final details, ink the third stamp with basic gray and stamp it on your cardstock. This ink is darker than the Smoky Slate, so it'll really make those details pop. You now have a complete bunny image. Next, you're going to add a little color to the bunny with some watercolored pencils and a blender pen. Start by coloring the bunny's body with your green pencil. As you can see, I'm just shading the whole image lightly with smooth, even strokes. Since the image is stamped in gray tones, this creates a wonderfully soft, colorized, vintage photo effect. I'm just going over all parts of the image carefully here to make sure that I get color on all of them. I love this lemon lime twist pencil. It's only available in the Lots of Happy card kit, but it's such a pretty color and perfect for spring and Easter. Now go back over the bunny's nose and the insides of his ears with your pink pencil, just to add a little pop of color. To add a little more softness to the image and even out your coloring, go over the image again with a blender pen. Each blender pen has 2 tips, so I'm using a different tip for each color so the colors don't get muddy and mixed together. You can see the blender pen just pulls the color right out of the pencil coloring and really gives us softness to the image. Now you have a sweet little vintage looking bunny image to add to your card. Now it's time to decorate the card liner to add a little festivity to the inside of the card. Start by inking the Happy Easter stamp in Smoky Slate, then stamp it in the top center of your 4 by 5 1/4 white cardstock piece. Now ink up the larger flower stamp in Smoky Slate too, and stamp it twice in the lower right corner of the cardstock. Stamp the flowers so that they're facing opposite directions. Finally, ink and stamp the tiny flower so that it forms a little image triangle with the first 2 flowers. Now grab your watercolored pencils and blender pen to color all the flowers. Color one of the bigger flowers pink and the other one green. Then add a little of both colors to the tiny flower. Go over your coloring with the blender pen to soften it up. Now it's time to add a splash of color to the sentiment too. Use your pink pencil to color just a little swash and then soften that too with your blender pen. Okay, so you've got everything stamped and colored. Now it's time to put the card together. First, attach the pattern paper to your card base with a little snail adhesive. Now you want to attach the bigger piece of ribbon so that it wraps around the card base under the image. To do this, slip the ribbon inside the card with the ends sticking out. Now lay your bunny image on top of the card base to see where you want the ribbon to line up. Once you have your ribbon lined up, move the image out of the way. Then fold the ends of the ribbon up and put a piece of Scotch tape over them to hold them in place. Next, attach some Stampin' Dimensionals to the back of your bunny image. This will give the image a little pop when you attach it to the card. Peel the backings off the Stampin' Dimensionals and then position the image over the card base. Be sure to line it up with your ribbon before you stick it down. To finish off the card front, tie a little bow with the 6-inch piece of ribbon and attach it right under the bunny's chin with a glue dot or 2. Be sure to trim the ends of your ribbon for a nice finished look. Now all that's left to do is attach the liner to the inside of the card with some snail adhesive. And there you have it, a sweet Easter bunny card with a colorized vintage photo effect to show somebody special. All of the products that we use to make this card are available through my online Stampin' Up shop, which I've linked below. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel for more stamping tutorials and inspiration. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below or visit my website at stampinwithdeedee.com for more information. Until next time, happy stamping!